Team DezignWorks here. We want to show you some enhancements to our feature wizard. So let's jump right in. We're using DezignWorks Mesh Modeler, which works on meshes from handheld devices or any device that can create an STL file. But we want to show you something that's totally changed the way people work. So let's jump in here. We've got a mesh loaded, and you can see it's incomplete. In a lot of cases, we don't have to go fill holes and things. With our feature wizard, it can identify features from the mesh, something nobody in the world is doing. So let's jump in. We're going to jump into our mesh features, and you're going to see that we've got some planes that we created here just to show you some setups. Well, instead of having to paint and find all this stuff, we're going to be using our feature wizard. So to use the feature wizard, we're going to go ahead and say, hey, let's look at a plane and look through it and find features. So I'm going to go over here and say, run the feature wizard. So this isn't just painting like a region or something like a lot of people do. It's actually going to find features. So I have it set to look for extrudes, cylinders, and cones. You can find surfaces and revolves. And you can see a little arrow here. I have it looking all the way through the part because I can adjust all that. I'm going to say start search. So what it's going to do and find anything it's what we selected: extrudes, cylinders, cones, whatever we want. So you can see down here in the feature wizard tree, it's telling you here's some extrudes, here's cuts, cylinders, with also they have draft. So you no longer have to guess. Take it back to your CAD system, edit it, check it out, and see what's going on. So this mesh isn't perfect. As you can see, it really can't find the edges. But that's why I built these planes. I can constrain it by planes or by using my brush. So I'm going to go up here and I said, hey, I want to look at the front plane and constrain this. And I picked the cylinder. And as you can also see, it doesn't really paint to the edge. So I can just take my brush tool and select it and come over here to my features and say cylinder. I can run this automatic, or in this case, we're running semi-automatic. We can control it. Notice what tells us things. It's a cone or cylinder. It's a solid. We can also control the start and end points. In this case, I'm going to say I like it. Boom. Created my cylinder, and it's in my tree. So over here, I'm going to start, and I want to get the rest of this extrude. Well, again, we know that didn't go all the way to the bottom. You can't scan things perfect. It doesn't happen in the real world. So I'm going to say, let's start at plane 2. It highlights it. And I'm going to come down here and pick it and say, I want this extrude. And again, scanners can't get all the way to the top. I'm going to tell it to go to there. That's my height. So I'm guiding this a little bit, but we do have full auto. And I'm going to say, build an extrude. And again, it's going to give me information about this like it did on the cylinder. It's going to tell me the start height, end height, draft, and I can change it as I go. So in some cases, as you're working, you know the mesh might not be as good. So here it's telling me I'm using lines and arcs. It's a solid. In the case it was a not open sketch, it'll force it closed, and I like it. And there's values here. But this does have a draft. Well, if I want to draft, I leave it alone. If I don't, I can delete it and recompute. Now let's do this cutout, and we'll take it back to SolidWorks and show you what it's built so far. So again here, I'm going to use plane 3. That's my bottom. And I'm going to pick this color. And you don't have to use these planes. If the mesh went all the way to the bottom, it would be fine. In most cases, if you use the scanner much, you can't get all the way to the bottom. There's a little gap. And I'm going to tell it to go to here and do another extrude. No more painting on the mesh, painting and tracing over the polylines people put out. You're building direct features. And we'll accept it. Now we're right up to SolidWorks. Here's all of our features. Let's go ahead and do a show hide mesh once. And look how nice that is. Everything's lines and arcs. Everything can be changed over here in the tree. There's your sketch. Here's your solids. And again, no more drawing on top and tracing. We don't do that. So let's go back into our mesh features. Now notice, it's telling me what it's already built. And it's intelligent. It knows how to stay away from that. So if we say, hey, we need to build the rest of this, we can go in here to like plane 3 where we started. That's where we want to constrain it from. So here's our planes we built. And it'll highlight it. If you don't want to see the CAD, there's the CAD data. And we're going to start to build from here. And this even has some holes in it. And no, you don't have to fill it. It'll go ahead and do it for you. So we're going to go ahead and tell it, look at that plane 3. That's our constraint. Go find features. Well, it's really smart. It didn't have to look for the rest of these. We have a setting to tell it to stay away from things. So up here you can see avoid features that are within 50,000 and you can adjust it. So now it knows what I built already. Start search. That it knows the features that are left. And it stores all the height we gave it. So again, now that's already cut out. We've got plane 3 started. That's where it knows to start. We'll use the extrude. Tell it to go to here. And we'll say extrude it. There's our extrude. Knows it's a solid. We'll accept it. Now we'll go ahead. And I want to start this one at a different location. And I can do that. So this needs to go all the way to the bottom. So I can pick the front plane to my start. I can tell it to do the extrude cut. And I want to go all the way through. So I'm going to pick it to here and say do my extrude. This saves you going back to SolidWorks and changing, did it cut through, did it not cut through. So here it knows it's lines and arcs, it's a cut. Accept it. And let's write it out. Boom. Look how fast and efficient this is. So let's go ahead and let's check it. In DezignWorks Mesh Features, we can go here to Feature to Mesh. And we'll tell it to look at everything. Visualize errors. It's going to tell us a heat map that we can adjust. This is set plus minus 10. You can set to whatever you want. Here you can see I didn't do the cutout because this little sliver in here wasn't scanned very good. We could use our section tool on that. But if we start checking this, we can see here, that's height there. Notice we didn't put the fillets in there yet, so that's going to show red. The keyway could be tightened up some, but it gives you a way to check your parts. You can have up to 8 views. We're going to save it out to the S key because we're going to take it into our reports. Now I'll tell it to create a report. You have your standard deviations with min-max, and then we'd save 2 views, image sheet 1, image sheet 2. And we'll go back to SolidWorks. That's how efficient DezignWorks is with the feature wizard. Stay tuned for more. Have a great day.